So, what am I doing? I like to take on a stretch project, something I can do in my nights and weekends, and help me stay current and push myself with my coding and architecture. So, for 2024 and 2025, what I've decided to do is build out an application that has the pieces and parts of applications that I've had to work on in the past. But I want to use cloud native technologies for the whole thing, but I don't want a big cloud bill. So I've decided to build out a piece of hardware, a workstation that can house this. So in summary, I want to build out an environment for testing the cloud native code and strategies. I want to have enough data and functionality to analyze trade offs and compare approaches. And I kind of want to minimize my cloud computing bill, but I still want to be able to deploy to the cloud so that I can know that what I've done will work on any of the cloud providers that I care about, and that's the cloudless cloud native project. All right, so what are we doing here? This isn't any kind of tutorial for any of these technologies that I'll mention here. I'm just taking you guys along as I build out this structure, this kind of lab that I'm using to test out my abilities with a lot of the technologies you see here. So I'm going to be figuring things out just along with you. Application itself, right now, all I can really say is it's a bunch of services, maybe microservices running in a K8s cluster, with some services in the periphery that mimic offerings that you would see on any cloud provider. So I've shown some things here. These are the ideas that I have right now. This is the stuff that I've installed on the workstation that I'm setting up for this. But it's subject to change. We're gonna run through this. We're gonna build out these little services, and things may change. And that's how we learn, is having an idea of what we think is going to happen, trying to make that happen, and then seeing what it actually turns into. And that's the real learning part, is you have these ideas in your head, and until you try them, you'll never know. You'll never know whether this stuff works the way you think it does or not, especially in a situation like this where I'm building out an application or pieces of applications that I've written before different ways, and we're going to see how that see how that lays out in this environment and see what we learn along the way. I am going to use start out with a set of languages that most of the services are going to be written in. Go, because it's my primary language. I've used Go for 8 years now, but I'm still learning, and I'm still pushing the limits of what I understand. And this platform gives me an opportunity to kind of do that, to kind of try different things, stick with tried and true methods there. But that also can start to make me stale. I don't want to become a stale developer. Rust, I'm new to Rust. I have less than a year under my belt writing a few utilities here and there. But it's definitely something I want to know more about. It's a tool that I want in my toolbox, and I want to start to push my skills to the point where I have the confidence to grab it where it's appropriate. Python, because I can't get away from Python. Python, I do come back to when I want to use things like NumPy and things that make analytics a little bit quicker. It's got so many libraries in there, allow you to visualize data and kind of do some analytics. And we're going to need to do that because we're going to be pushing a lot of data into this thing, seeing how that data looks, being able to visualize it pretty quickly with utilities in Python will be useful. So you'll see some Python pick up every now and then. But I will be testing that boundary of where analytics with Rust versus Python, where that boundary is, because that's something I'd really like to learn in all this. Okay, this is sort of a made up kind of project structure. I needed some way to kind of delineate the phases of the project. I'm going to start out with no cloud provider at all, just completely building everything on this workstation that has everything: the development environment, the K8s cluster, all the peripheral services that I'm going to connect to do whatever I need to do. But at some point, I want to see if I've stayed true to a cloud native approach and be able to take my deployment and test it on at least AWS, GKE, and Azure. And then at some point in a third phase, maybe deploy pieces and parts to different cloud providers and see if the pieces and parts can still work together. So that's kind of the ultimate goal. So I've broken down the project into 3 phases, and I just came up with a tag for each one. It'll help me tag the repos correctly or tag the project, in a way that where we can know kind of what phase this goes into. The first phase is Overton, which is a big ass company. That's the BAC part. I am kind of where I'm building out this first phase, where I'm building all the services that this company might use in this local environment. The Sandy Ridge, our BAC, and no, that's not role-based authorization and control. It's a really big ass company. And so what I develop in the Overton phase, that's the point where I kind of deploy everything to AWS, GCP, and Azure, see what works and see what doesn't, go back and refine Overton until I get something that can truly cloud provider agnostic, which is one of the goals. I don't know, that's probably pie in the sky, but that's what I'm shooting for, aside from all the benefits of improving my skills and whatnot. I want to see if I can build this cloud application, deploy it to the cloud in as simple a process as possible, and then move around in the cloud providers at will. That would be the overall goal. And then the Prestige Worldwide company, in that phase, this company's so big, they've got pieces and parts running in all of the different cloud providers. And we got to be able to have some interoperability between services that are running on any one of the other cloud providers. So also an interesting problem in and of itself. So this is a nights and weekends project. My day job is pretty challenging as it is. So basically I'll be working in 2 to 3 nights a week and maybe some weekend work to get all this done, get the video shot and edited. So it's going to take a while. It'll take a good chunk of the next year into 2025, I would imagine. We won't go too in depth with the functionality of each service. We'll get a basic service together that does a basic job with not a lot of features. So that'll save us some time and being able to just kind of get something working in a given service so that it interoperates and interacts with the peripheral services the way it's supposed to. And once we prove that out, we'll call it kind of done. But it's going to take a little while. So what I'm going to beg for you to do is like and subscribe. That'll let me know that I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm going to put the videos out anyway, but it will give me a little bit of extra motivation when I get finished with my day job and want to sit down with this. And there's decisions to be made. You get tired, and that little bit of extra motivation from a like and subscribe could be the difference in me tackling a little bit of it, one night or just going to bed. So just let me know that it's something that you want me to continue with, and that'll help keep me motivated. I hope I'm doing something that's interesting to you. I know it's interesting to me. I love this stuff. And even though I do it, 50, 60 hours a week, still love it enough to try and push myself. And that's what this is all about. So thanks for watching this. I hope to see you around. Put some comments down there as to things that you think you'd like to see in this. Hope to see you around in the next videos.